Hey everybody, happy Sunday night. Let's see, are we live? I can't tell with the new, still trying to do, hello. Yeah, there y'all are. Hello. Oh my gosh, I gotta mute that. I did that last week too. We got a special guest. So this software is paying off. So hold on. Let me say hello to everybody and happy Sunday. I'm blown away. Oh my gosh. There was like 30 of you waiting. Word must have got out. Sunday night is the night. Let me get into that Skype. We have a special guest in the wing. If I push the right thing, we'll have a special guest. So let me say hello to everybody, and then we'll bring in the special guest. And let's see. Hey, Nicholas, Jeff, hello. Hi, Ashley. Addie's in the house. Jeff B, hello. Steven, hello. Wendy, hello. Derek's in the house. Melissa, hello. Dano, hello. Lady Firefly, hello. So how many do we have? Oh my gosh, 71 of you. I think that's enough. Do you guys want to bring in the special guest? You ready? This is a big one because if you're new here, I've been doing this show for about 2 years. Used to do a produced show. You guys just wanted to talk. You didn't want to do much of anything else. And so we just transitioned to this. So a homeless friend of mine, Theo, we've tried to get on a show a couple of times, but we had tech problems. Well, he is waiting in the wings. And if I could bring up the software correctly, like the guy where am I? Show scenes. There we go. Where's the audio? We are going to bring in. That is, where are we? That is Theo. Hello, Theo.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mark.
Finally! Oh my gosh!
Finally, yeah.
Finally,
yes.
You're a little off to the side. I don't know if you can see. You got to move. No, there you go. Got your, there you go. Got you. Awesome. A little dark, but it'll be. We got you at least, and we have audio. So everybody, if you do not know Theo is homeless in Los Angeles. You're hearing kids in the background because Theo lives in a park, but he also, parents and kids all hang out with Theo. He's a former school teacher. I will let him introduce himself. Theo, say hello to everybody and tell.
Hello, everybody. I thank you, Mark, for that warm greeting. I am Theo Henderson. I am unhoused here in Los Angeles, California. I've been unhoused for close to 7 years now. And like many of you guys have had life interrupt your ambitions. No one wants to look out of their window of their homes and become unhoused or houseless. I share the same story. After some illness and the Great Recession and me trying to recover, being housed became a Sisyphean an enterprise. It's still a major enterprise, but hopefully I get into a situation where I can be housed and I can continue to do the work that I've started.
Everybody, this is so cool that Theo is with us, and I'm able to do this double screen. I'm just blown away. And Theo, thank you very much for testing this equipment with me so that we can interview more people. Now,
you were my comrade in arms trying to get it together.
Yeah. Everybody,
I was trying to get my friend to teach me how to do this too. I was like, I'm going to make it work.
Yeah. Move the phone over. There you go. Because you're off to the side. Everybody in the
Okay.
chat room is saying hello, Theo. Hello, Theo.
Oh, hello, guys.
Theo. If you guys have any questions for Theo, feel free to ask. Theo is a school teacher. He also teaches martial arts. He's an activist. He runs a podcast called We the Unhoused. Let me ask you, Theo, you've been getting quite a bit of, I mean, you had your picture on the front page of the LA Times a couple weeks ago, and then a story about you, I think it was yesterday. Has the media attention helped you at all?
It has helped me in ways that I had no idea that my stories would resonate in such a degree, and my podcast would. I've had people come out and reach out to me that want to meet with me. I'm having people helping me with my housing a little bit more. And also, not only just me, what I'm really more proud about is helping other people that I interview on these podcasts, is getting people getting concerned to ask about Freddie, the one that he lost his wife, passed away, and was terrorized by some of the homeowners over there. They were asking about a young woman named Merlene who has HIV positive. That's what this podcast is about: connecting all of us, housed and unhoused, with a common theme in order for us to find each other's humanity. Because I think it's lost in the conversation when people discuss homelessness, being unhoused, houselessness, no matter the moniker, but the fact, the truth remains, we need to have a humane approach to people that are in a vulnerable situation.
Yeah. So we have a couple of questions. First is Jeff asks, how long have you been homeless for?
I have been unhoused for close to 7 years now.
7 years. That 7 years is you're happy. How do you retain? And I need to clarify that, because, there's rich people that are miserable. And so if somebody's homeless and they're having a bad day and they're miserable, I don't want to do this. Oh my gosh, you're positive. But you've been around for 7 years on the streets, and you've survived this long. Tell us how.
Well, I'm not always sunshine and roses every day, but like I say, the most recently, of course, getting exposure about my situation, because like many unhoused people feel like I did, that no one was listening to me, or they were always talking at me. One of the things that kept me alive and kept me going is martial arts, and I'm an educator. So I took the resources that I had when I was housed, like reading, writing, and trying to express myself and use a positive or a healthy outlet, instead of sometimes using things that could cause me some harm or harm to other people. So I always wanted to keep my humanity. That was one of the things I fought to keep, and I'm proud that I did that. And I want now to have others see that humanity, which is they're starting to, like I say, with the podcast.
Yeah. Now, somebody asks about your family, which is a very common question.
Yeah.
People say, well, and I always respond, when somebody asks me about where's their family, I always say, how was your Thanksgiving? Drama-free?
Mm-hmm.
Families,
Mm-hmm.
We want to live in this world that families are this loving, caring thing, but sometimes that's not reality. And then there's other times where families are loving and caring, but they can't but they don't have, they're hurting themselves, that
part right there. That part right there. Like, let's say my immediate family is deceased, and my mother passed away when I was in high school. I took care of her. She was dying of cancer, and my dad died when I think it was my first year or second year of college. And also, I want to point out too, like my immediate family is like this person had financial strains and their own challenges themselves. They would have loved to help me, and they did try as much as they can. But my families have families, and that wasn't tenable, because I was living here and they're living in all different parts of the city. So
right. We got a question from, oh my gosh, Total Control is in the house now. Total Control is I don't know if I should describe total control. Usually he comments after the live video. So for him to come out and comment during a live video, you must be special, Theo. So so total control wants to know what triggered your homelessness. What started your homeless?
What started my houseless or homeless situation was one word: illness. I have had short stints of being unhoused, and I was able to, like many other unhoused people, will work myself into a situation out of it. I hid my situation, but the came crashing when the wrong timing, the Great Recession, as well as me going into a coma for at least a month. That kind of made things difficult because I had to recover, and rent has to still be paid. I don't have the financial wherewithal to be able to take care of all of that, as well as doing what I needed to do to become mobile and to become, I guess, basically where I am now. And landlords are not understanding. I don't have family resources that I could rely on and recover and then go back into work. So I had to basically lost my job. And then as I tried to recover, I recovered in some very, very kind people, homes. But you got to understand, neighbors don't like the fact that sometimes when they see you, they might think you're doing some nefarious activities, like you're a drug dealer or you are a gang member or whatever it is, and they will complain to the landlord. And then you put your friend in jeopardy. So I had maybe 2 or 3 incidents with this, and I want to talk about a very kind family, the Lamb family. They saw me struggling and trying to get well and things. They offered me a place to stay. Now they're the older couple, and their kids are gone, and they wanted to give me a chance to be able to get on my feet. But those so lovely neighbors had caused so much problems. They complained with the landlord. The landlord came and tried to almost run me over, mistreated me at every turn. And it got so bad that they were going to evict them. So I had to leave the space that I was in and go back out on the streets. Yeah. So there are people that want to help, but you got to understand that the idea about being unhoused, the stereotypes wins the day, no matter how truthful it is.
Great answer. Basically, your immediate family wasn't there, but other people have stepped up, and now you've even found a new family with advocates like Street Watch and K-Town for All, and people that are really fighting for you to get off the streets. And so, and everybody. Theo is currently on the streets of Los Angeles.
So, can you see me?
I can see you, but it's getting a little noisy.
Okay. Because someone said hi to me. I was just
yeah. No, it's all right. So True Crime asked a question here, and I'm going to answer it first, and then I'm going to allow Theo to have his take. True Crime asked, and I'll read it out here, or actually I'll add it to the broadcast because I can do that now. Is True Crime says, hello, Theo. What are your thoughts on the reality that addiction and mental illness are the major causes that lead to homelessness and the fact that those realities go ignored and downplayed? I think that's a myth. So first off, I've got to say, there is a serious addiction and mental health problem in the United States. Theo, you're getting a little noisy. I'm going to turn you down here. So there is a serious problem with addiction and mental health in the United States. And that's not really getting downplayed. I mean, there's issues. I got to say this right. Sorry, I took off the headphones. There's areas like the Tenderloin, Skid Row, or other areas where there's a high concentration of addiction and mental health. It's a crisis. People need treatment, they need shelters, and they need a path from the shelters into housing. It's extremely important. We have failed those people. There is an addiction and mental health problem, but everybody sees it. The only way it's getting downplayed is, look at the newspaper or the TV or Twitter, it's top of mind. People are sharing about addiction and mental health. So it is getting attention. Where it's not getting the attention is the support. And the support has to be treatment, shelters, and housing. You have to have housing. So many of the people that are just arguing about addiction, they're just addiction. We have an addiction problem. After a person goes through a recovery detox, which is often 7 days, you don't get sober in 7 days, but that's all insurance will pay. If you're lucky, 28 days, and then they're exited back to homelessness again. So we have to have housing. So that is my take on it. I think it's a serious crisis. I get often blamed. People are often saying that I only want housing. That's ridiculous. Even the housing people want housing with services. Housing first is housing and recovery. It's not. Anyways, I'm going back to Theo because, as you can tell, I'm ranting. Hang on, I'm getting the headset back in. Theo, are you there? So. Yeah, no, it's all of yours. It's all yours.
I have a podcast, and I can hear that question all the time. And one of the things that you touched on is so true is I don't know how anybody on this green earth will think it's downplayed that people have substance usage issues and mental health issues. After all, you have streets of shame. You got Dr. Drew talking about the whole majority of our house people are mentally ill or on drugs. I just think that this is not a very well thought out question. The true reality of it is that many of these people that have these issues did these issues not before they became unhoused, but while they had to cope with the situation. The second issue is that what frustrated me is when I always would hear people say that very first thing, but not when I include my situation, and there are other people that may be right next to them, next door, or working with them, that are unhoused, and they are afraid to tell you their story because many people rant and rave about the substance use issue and mental health issue. And soon as we as a society stop stigmatizing these people and give them housing instead of punishing them out on the street, thinking that they're going to magically not become sober or magically become sane, it's a ludicrous and it's a Sisyphean argument because we're going to be going over this forever. Yeah. We're going to have to give supportive housing. We're going to have to give treatment for the people, and we're going to have to understand that this is not a cookie cutter situation. Yeah. An 80-year-old person, you can't tell this person who has maybe health issues with dementia and is out here on the street that is worried because her Social Security check doesn't cover that she has a substance abuse and she's mentally ill. This is wrong. Right. And it really angers me when I always hear that major
and it's coming up more and more. And the thing is the people that are really doing that, like the anti-social media accounts, they don't care about homeless people. They just want them arrested. That is their motivation. They pretend, we care about these people, but they don't. They want them arrested. So I told you total control was trouble, right? I warned you. So he's got a trouble question in here. He says, what kind of badass martial arts moves do you know?
Well, I am a practitioner of the martial art that Bruce Lee did before he went to Jeet Kune Do. I do Wing Chun. I know Northern Shaolin, Bok Siu Lum. I know Tai Chi. I know Hung Gar. And I also did Japanese martial art like Shoin-ryu karate. So I've been doing martial arts for over 26 years.
Wow. That's probably helped, and I know we've talked about it a couple of times.
Many occasions.
Oh my gosh, I got to catch up on the questions here. Hey Rico, how are you? Hey, people saying God bless you. Everybody's thanking you, saying how you stay positive, encouraging you. Let's see. Any other questions? Can't hear them. I know, Addie. I had the thing down. I'm sorry. We're just learning it. Hey, Julie, you can hear them now. I hope. Yeah, I should have scrolled down. Well, you know what? I'm not going to blame another person, but Addie and Derek have my cell phone number, and they could have texted me and said, "Turn up Theo," right? So, everybody's saying Theo is badass. And hello, Monica. Let's see. Any other questions for Theo now that you can hear him? So I got a question. What have you learned about your podcast? I mean, about homelessness, about yourself. What have you learned about podcasts?
I have to say I've learned because I've been unhoused and I had ideas about it, watching it. But the fact that I'm interviewing other unhoused people, we all have something in common. We're unhoused. We have a story to be told, and we want to be heard. And we're not bad people.
Right.
I've not met many of the kindest people that I have ever met are unhoused people. They've given me food, clothing. They walk out for me. They will tell me what place to go to. I mean, they're just, it's just on a whole. I have to say I've had a lot of positive experiences with unhoused people. And I wanted the rest of the world to see that just because we don't have four walls or a structure, we doesn't lose our kindness and our humanity.
Yeah.
And that's one of the major things that I've learned.
I'm getting the wrong. I can't push the right buttons. This whole thing. Good thing I'm not chewing gum. At least we got it to work, Theo. We got it to work. Oh my gosh.
That's a major step.
Yeah, that's the first step. Derek says you guys have some similar martial arts training.
Excellent.
So, and you know Derek from our group. And
I noticed he was able to repel a few people that were causing some problems. He mentioned at one point.
Yeah.
And one of his posts, I do recall him saying that.
And Jeff asked, how long were you a teacher for?
Oh, I have been, I went to college. I finished my undergraduate in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I have a Bachelor's of Arts degree in education, and I started my student teaching there in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I started at Grand Rapids Public Schools, and I graduated in 1998. But from then on, I have been teaching off and on from 1998 to, I guess, my last time from 2008.
Yeah.
So, and I taught every group you could possibly imagine. From my first real job was teaching adult Serbians, and I don't know if you guys remember the Serbian crisis that was going on in the late 90s. That was my first teaching. I was to teach them English, and I didn't speak Serbian, so I had to make that one work.
Yeah.
That was pretty tough.
So Jeff B asked, and it's a good question, and me and Theo have talked about this actually quite a bit. He asked, is unhoused better than a term than homeless? And I'll give you a simple answer first, and then let Theo, because this is Theo's show tonight. I think it depends on the person. I mean, some people like African Americans, some people like people of color. Ask the person. You know, some people say people experiencing homelessness. There's nothing wrong with that. I particularly don't like that. Some people say unhoused. Some people say homeless. Some people say, I've heard structurally challenged, roofless. You know, unhoused comes really from the advocate community. Personally, for me, most people still say the homeless, and I believe I like saying homeless people, but if we need to change the stigma surrounding homelessness or unhoused, like the word queer, right? When I was growing up, queer was bad. If you were queer, you got thumped, right? And now queer is cool. So we need to change the stigma around that. Now, to Theo and a bunch of other people, they prefer the term unhoused, and there's nothing wrong with it. There really isn't.
Yeah. Right. I agree, and I wanted to touch base on what you said, and I agree with what you said, that we do need to change the stigma of it. I just wanted, because at the time in my life, when I was out here, it was always used in a negative fashion, and I got tired of it. And for my own way of trying to create a sense of agency, a sense of choice, that I wanted to say, you know what, I'm going to choose what I want to say. So when someone wants to ask me What do I want to be called? I want to be called unhoused. There will maybe a day that I can say I'm homeless. But right now, I want to say unhoused or houseless, primarily because it puts a different conversational point to it, as well as it being a way for us to give the sense of agency back to people that are maybe homeless, displaced, roofless, or structurally challenged, or unhoused, or houseless. It doesn't matter. But just to giving the idea to give them the answer, well, what do we like? What would you like to be called? Most people do say homeless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unhoused, so that is true.
Yeah. Total Control is sticking with us tonight. Someday I'll tell you the Total Control stories. He used to be in the group. He's ornery.
Oh.
I love Total Control. I love everybody in the group. And he just added that he prefers homeless. He wrote a thing about it when he was homeless. But again, it's up to everybody. There's certain things people call me that bother me, and certain things that call me that flatter me. I'm probably different than other people. So Slim asked, what are your 3 wishes?
My 3 wishes? Yeah. Wow. That's a good question. I think one of the things that I wanted to do, I think I'm fulfilling that one. And I want to be able to be in a place where I can help many more unhoused or houseless or just structurally challenged or homeless people to be able to get what I get. The same kind of love, the respect, and care and humanity that I'm starting to get. I want that. That's why I'm doing the podcast. And that's why I believe Mark, he has that big heart that he does this kind of thing. We need more love in the world. We need less hate. And the last thing I wish is for me to be able to take care of some of the people that looked out for me where it jeopardized maybe their housing situation or their financial situation. I want to be able to look back and be able to have a financial way of saying thank you or something to show that I really appreciated their kindness when people were just not so kind to me.
Yeah. Great. And I gotta talk, Deborah Barry, you're spot on. I do know that people of color and African American are totally different. I kind of mispronounced that. I have an African American friend who is black who doesn't like to be called POC, people of color. I said it in reverse. He doesn't like the POC term. And that's his choice. I was just using it as an example.
That's understandable.
But I wanted to clarify that, and I wanted to thank you for bringing that up. So, what next? What next for We the Unhoused?
Well, there's a couple of things. Since this article has been the second article, because I had a new article this Saturday with the Los Angeles Times, and people have been asking me that about the unhoused. I'm going to start 2 things. I want to start We the Unhoused for children, because I've been running across a lot of families with children that has to deal with the neighborhood NIMBYs that interact with these kids. You have to bear in mind, people think negatively about unhoused people, but to some degree, as an adult, we can kind of shoulder the burden. But children that have to go to school with these same parents that have kids, they hear the same horrible things, and they use different coping mechanisms. So I want to do a way of doing that, and then most importantly, I also want to do a We the Unhoused live, for example, different training educational videos, special videos. I have a Patreon now, so.
Oh wow!
That's
Well, go
at long last. Someone help me because I had no idea what I was doing.
Go good. Well, you can plug your Patreon. What's the URL?
Okay. I got to ask my friend. My friend did it. I have to ask her. Like, she helped me with this one too. So I have to, as you can see, I'm technologically inept. So I have some skills in other things, but doing this kind of stuff, I gotta admit, I'm not really good at it.
Yeah. I wish I was there to help you. I told you I have some gear that I could send you, but I don't. We got to figure out a way that you could be able to charge it. So and keep it going. So I'm gonna, this keeps coming up, and since I got you on here, and people are asking you, everybody's asking, is the homeless population or the unhoused population being informed about the coronavirus?
Oh yeah, we are. Oh, most certainly. But most often than not, surprisingly, many of the unhoused have a more of a sympathetic approach. I'm in Chinatown, and I still go every day to my friends that are Chinese into their restaurants. I talk with them, and though the coronavirus has been splattered all over the place, it's just sometimes I think it's just fear and hysteria. It's you have a larger danger of the flu than it is the coronavirus, because you lose more people than the coronavirus. There's a lot of people dying more of the flu, but that's not getting most of the media press because they like to sensationalize certain things against certain people. So
Right. I totally, I didn't, I know we, times in the past, I don't like to tell where you are, Chinatown,
Yeah.
but since
Right,
you
Chinatown.
did, it kind of makes sense for this conversation. You know what I mean? Somebody else just asked the question that you are very much an advocate for, and I will read it as it is. Are there police in your area? Are the police in your area nice, or do they kick you out of public areas that are unhoused?
They have had a campaign. Yes, for the most part. Now, it's not necessarily that they are nice, but they have been much more cautious because at the height of the harassment that was started by a lot of the business improvement district personnel, founded by a vigilante, unhoused vigilante, they had targeted me and other unhoused people in the park. It got so bad that they were working to do different campaigns. Like I find with other unhoused people, that first I was a drug addict, I was a drug dealer, I was a dangerous person that would violently attack the seniors and the children. Then I was a child monster or a predator or whatever. It got so bad that I had to go and get a friend of mine, a legal counsel, to get them to back off. And I guess also public exposure and friends and community members standing up and saying, you know what, we've been watching this guy for over 10 years. There's nothing to these things. So that's one of the benefits of having friends that are housed and unhoused, that we are much more similar than we really want to give ourselves credit for.
Yeah. And really quick, and I'm not going to pronounce your name, Farashimmer. Oh my gosh, you've got a plane. I'm muting you. Yeah, you've got. So that is Los Angeles for you. And Lady T was talking in the chat room about how in the Chinatown where she lives, people aren't going because of the coronavirus. Where,
Yeah.
you know, I get it. People are scared, you know.
Yeah, they have that.
And
But that's not media bias, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Fair Shimmer, if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. You're welcome. It was an important question. Sadly, criminalization is growing around the country. In cities like Vegas, it's $1,000 a fine to be homeless. 6 months in jail and or $1,000 fine. Does it end homelessness? No. Does it waste taxpayer money? Yes. And sadly, criminalization is growing. So it is an important conversation. I'm glad you asked it. Oh, wow. I said your name right, too. Oh, my gosh. Cool name. Yeah. Theo, talk to us a little about the criminalization.
Criminalization, like I say, it is, I'm going to just touch on what you stated. It is a very growing business. It's very profitable to council members because very well heeled residents that live in houses, or not so much that have been drinking on the cup of bitterness and anti-unhoused sentiment. They contact the 311 number to talk about encampments. Then they would use the narrative that if they're drug addicts, and then they will use, with the help of a lot of the police, who will go into these business improvement district meetings or these other arenas and help foster those flames. And then they will target unhoused people. Like if you listen to my podcast, all over. They were talking about in Chatsworth, they were targeting people twice a day with cleanups, throwing all their things away, getting this disabled guy, having him crawl on his buttocks to take down his tent. These are the stories that are not told enough to the public because of the public perception that police officers are nice guys, they are angels, they are doing a tough job, which many of them are. But the darker underbelly of it is we don't tell those stories because we are always shut down and saying that we're anti-police. No in-house person is anti-police. They just want to be treated respectfully and have more compassion when you deal with them, as well as the city council who pushes them to have this collision course of criminalization, I think.
And, it's interesting to me, and interesting is, I don't want to say it's funny because it's not funny, but I believe that humans, all of us, have rights. However, the same rights, the same decency. However,
Absolutely.
There's a growing population of house people that believe because they own property and homeless people don't, that they are better than homeless people. I do not think that is right.
Mark, I agree with one of the things you said. I don't know if you guys are following him on his Twitter, but you're saying something that I'm so glad that you are saying, and I wish more people would pick up the mantle to say. There is like a growing sentiment among civic leaders that are pushing, but instead of against housing first, they're pushing for heavy criminalization, heavy-handed tactics, and they are not listening to the fact that housing decreases criminalization and all of this nonsense. They don't believe in that. And you are on the forefront of that.
Well,
and I totally agree with that sentiment because I see the wave of it. Anytime you will get a Dr. Drew who's running around saying unhoused people are walking around with a bag of feces and people are drinking this up on Tucker Carlson and other places that it's a over abundance of mentally ill and substance users. We have a growing anti-unhoused sentiment that's driving a lot of the legislation and the top officials that can do the positive change, but they choose to operate in fear and hysteria.
Yep. Real quick, and this one's from Lady T. Lady T is kind of famous here. You're all famous. Everybody in that chat room is famous to me. Lady T asked, when is your video coming out? Because, see, you've been in the LA Times twice, and I played your teaser in the video 2 weeks ago. So they want to know when your little mini doc is coming out.
Well, I've been doing a lot of mini docs to promote my podcast. I do promos, and I have a special treat for them for the episode of episode 12. Episode 11 is going to be dropped tomorrow, but episode 12, you got a nice treat coming.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to reveal the surprise and things, but I just want it's coming.
Yeah.
We're working on it. I'm just working on some things, and then also I need financial support this is why it takes sometimes a longer time for me to do it, because I am using sometimes my own money and I'm begging other people, and there's a lot of kind people are helping, but that's what's dragging sometimes slowing the cha-cha down.
Hey, Theo, I've been doing Invisible People for 11 years, and although that people are you're going to be, that's the nonprofit world, but I think she was referring to the video we're doing of you. And that is going to be, knock on wood, posted this week. So that is going to be posted this week. So I got about 3 to 5 minutes here. I'm going to give it to you, last words, and then we'll let you go, and I'll close out the show. You're on. What's up? Last words. Anything you want to talk about?
I want to thank the listeners for some very good questions. I liked all of them, and I'm very touched that you guys are supporting a very well-deserved person that needs the support. So if you go on click on this page, give him some love, on his Patreon, as well as continue to help support him. And I'm very happy that you're doing much better, Mark, because I was worried about when you was having your challenges. And I just wanted you to say it's okay to take a break. You know, we're still here. We still wanted you to do great things. And you have a lot of great things that's coming.
Cool.
So we all are behind you.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Theo. I'm glad we got this to work. We're going to have to figure out how to get you a tripod. Thank you for trying. We literally tried several times. So
yes, we did.
Yeah. You have a good evening, man.
Thank you. And may we again meet in the light of understanding.
You got it. Bye.
All right.
Okay, let me get the headset off here. It was weird because when I go to this scene, like with just you guys, it still had the audio from Theo, and that was, and see, it's still there. So let me get rid of that. Cool. Okay, we got 15 minutes. What do you guys want to talk about? Wasn't that cool? Thank you guys for bearing with me. I mean, we've tried new software. We did a show. We had Derek, and we had Addie, and we had Victoria, and we had Brad, and we're starting to, as we go on, what I want to do is be able to interview different homeless people like that. So this was a first time, and there are some technical glitches. There's some human glitches, really, because I forgot to hit the unmute thing, and so anyways, I'm so grateful that you guys allow me to experiment, and good or bad, it's us hanging out Sunday nights, family. How the heck are you tonight? And what'd you guys think? Wasn't it great having Theo on? And his video will be coming out soon. Hey, homeless police. Hey, Gene. Gene, you know what? Gene always asks about my mom. Thank you. I was away the last couple of days. I'm shaking the table here. I was away the last couple of days, and I will. I have not heard anything from the home, so I assume she's good. I will go see her tomorrow. But thank you very much for asking. Lady Firefly, thank you. Hey, S. Kalawachuk. I kind of got that right. Thank you. I thought the split screen worked too. It was really easy. So the other software I was using, Derek and Addie were able to figure it out, but because they are now in apartments and have Wi-Fi and laptops or, different technology, where Theo is still outside and he only had his phone. So that technology wouldn't work, and then we worked out on Skype. So it was great. Hey, Kim, I should be in Ohio over the summer. We're doing a road trip. Next up, I'm in St. Paul next week. And I'm not going to see Addie and get cheese. She's going to have to come and see me. And if you didn't know what last time I was in Ohio. Sorry, Kim, you got me confused with Ohio. Last time I was in Minnesota, I drove down to meet Addie for her first time. And I took her to a restaurant. Always allow the person to pick. And she picked this wonderful cheese place. So, and then I'm in Austin, Texas. Melissa, you like that? I'm glad you guys like that. His video is going to be really, really good too. Oh my gosh, you all must have liked it because there was like 170 of you. And then as soon as Theo left, it's now down to 117. I can tell you like the guests better than the hosts. You hurt me so bad. Now I'm honored, and I started this channel to give a face and a voice to homelessness, and that means me taking a back seat. And in fact, as we're producing these documentaries, I'm not in them. Like, for instance, Theo's documentary is about Theo. I have really, the story is, I think the term, and is anti-branding. I've anti-branded several times, anti-branded invisible people to highlight homeless people's stories over mine. Now, one thing that happened because it was the economic crisis and I was facing homelessness a second time, media wanted my story. And I fought it for the longest time. And then I realized to be able to do Charlie's story and Mary's story and Popcorn's story, I would have to do my story. So I started to allow that. But it's really the story of homeless people. I'm just an old fat guy with a bag of socks. You don't need to hear me, right? Hey, Fairsheimer, I don't know how to message through YouTube. Um, my only advice, if you're going into the field of social work, is go connect with an Addie, a Charlie. Charlie, I see you in the chat. Love you. Um, Theo's learn from the experts. So often social workers, and it's important, we need more social workers, and they have a big heart, but they're taught textbook. And social workers, I've been out on the streets with social workers that have the head knowledge, but they don't have a clue about the streets. And so the more that you can hang out with homeless people, if that's the direction you're going in. I mean, when mom goes to the hospital, we're always connected to a social worker. Maybe it's, going to go into a hospital setting or something like that, where it's the same thing. Connect with patients, hang out with the hospital, intern. And that's what I would do. And that's whatever. If you're going to go be a mechanic, go hang out with cars, right? Cuddles is right there. Cuddles is right there. Cuddles has been having seizures. One last week kind of was really bad and really scary. I sat with her for a while. I didn't know you weren't supposed to pet dogs when they're having seizures because they could bite, but I was trying to comfort her the best I can. So I don't know if you guys know this. We were trying to find a home for Cuddles. I thought we almost did. We didn't. I'm kind of glad now because she's getting older. I mean, we knew she was an older dog, but now that she's having seizures, so I'm going to take her to the vet this week or next. And we'll see what's up. A little bit. I don't have the money if there's a big vet bill. But you cross those bridges when you come. You know what I mean? You do the best you can, and life happens. Life happens. It's been. I put up a front here often. It's like, yeah, let's end homelessness, but things in my personal life have been a little rough recently, and that's life. I'm not saying it to feel sorry for me. I'm sure there's most of you in this chat room right now have going through some rough times or currently going through some rough times. That's life. You got to have the valley experiences to experience the mountains. As we get moving forward, I've always been honest with you guys. I've been vulnerable. I'm vulnerable on Facebook, vulnerable on YouTube. I actually took a break from our online chat room, and I consider it a vacation. It was kind of like a hard stop. I thought about it, and if I just not done it as I did, it wouldn't have been a vacation because people would still be reaching out to me. So we're trying to make the best of it, and I cherish all you guys and your support. Gosh, you got me being melancholy just talking about the dog. Hey, RC Arts, hello. Hi, Dave. Well, total control. Are you going to be in New Jersey? Because maybe I'll visit when you're not there. Just kidding. I was just in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, a couple hours. Because you're no longer in Philadelphia. So I went like Addie. I took total control out to eat, and where I think you wanted to go to Wendy's or some chicken place, didn't you? I forget where we went, but you like the split screen, Melissa? Cool. Thank you, everybody. Addie, flattery will get you everywhere. Hi, Isabel. Thank you. Hey, Gene, you can ask Derek. He's in the room. I think Derek, last I knew, and we haven't talked in a week, is not outside, but he is kind of like couch surfing. Hey, Julia Chan, I don't mind. So, for my homelessness, the worst part, excuse me. Ooh, now you guys are all going to yawn, right? Because I yawn, you're all going to yawn. Everybody all together. 1, 2. Sorry, I'm tired and sleepy. The worst part of homelessness is, so every day I beat myself up for two things. How did I get here? At least for me, you have the past go through your head. I think we all do that for any crisis we're in, where we, how did I get here? I was so dumb. What did I do? And the other is the feeling of helplessness. Because the one constant about homelessness with everybody is the insane amount of times they try to connect to homeless services and get turned away. So back when I was homeless, there wasn't the services there are today. Basically, there was just ministries where you got 3 hots and a cot and Bible study. I think if I was homeless today, because I'm a single male and I'm not chronically homeless, I wouldn't have been able to get support, which is a whole nother conversation. So, the fear of, homelessness in itself, you can't sleep deprivation. You don't know where you're going to clean up, much less go to the bathroom. It's scary. Oh my gosh, the fear. And it's a weird kind of fear because, there's this fear of being in a movie theater, right? Or watching a horror movie. And there's this fear of, possibly losing your job and all these other fears. But that's a different kind of fear because some of it's imaginary, some of it you can control or whatever. Fear when I was homeless, it's like, I can't do anything about this, right? I have no place to sleep and I'm scared to death of going to sleep here because there's gang members over there, right? And so it's fear with learned helplessness added. And that's the worst kind of fear. But it was really the hopelessness. It was, you would see people having a life, mowing their lawn, walking, holding their girlfriend's hand, delivering mail or even arguing or whatever. And, eating or, just having that normal life. And you're, sitting on that park bench and there's no hope. And that hopelessness is devastating. So to me, that was the biggest fear. And thank you, Julia. Great question. Slim, he did answer you. He did answer his 3 wishes. Gia, thank you very much. Thank you, Lady Firefly. RC, I'm glad you survived. Charlie, you rock. Okay, folks, we got 2 more minutes. I was on time tonight. I think I was I on time? Yeah, I was close. I was a couple of minutes late. We were trying to get Theo into a place where there wasn't so much noise. George, I'm sorry you were homeless before. Well, you're kind of right, Total Control. Corporate media loves money, and narratives that drive traffic create money. So it isn't so much that they love narratives that feed stereotypes, and they love, look at Breitbart and Fox. And on the other side, you have CNN, right? CNN isn't as bad as Fox. Fox is horrible. But it's funny. Every now and then I will type in a keyword into Google, like Trump, and I'll read the headlines. And you have Fox, which is completely, oh gosh, I'm getting political. Slap me. Somebody, good thing it's the end of the show, because I was going to go down the political hole and there probably would have been no recovery. And I can blame that on you, Total Control. Ah! Boy, I'm glad I caught that. Hey, Sheila. Hello, hello. Thank you, Sheila. Good wishes, Deborah. I am Fersheimer. The best way to connect with me is on Twitter, @HardlyNormal. Shaq, thank you. Thank you. Everybody's been saying I need to cut it. Okay, we are coming down to the last 2 minutes. Lady T, I was down in Carlisle this last weekend. I plan on doing Philly in the road trip. So over the summer. Okay, folks, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Let me see. I don't know if I'm going to be home next Sunday. Okay. Whoa, maybe. So next Sunday night is a maybe. It is a maybe. And, to all of you that left questions in the community section that I didn't get to, I'm so sorry. We got a chance to interview Theo tonight, and I went with it while we could get the technology to work. And I take all the suggestions in the community section seriously, except Addie's. And Addie knows exactly what I'm talking about. So everybody, Walter, I am going to message you on Facebook. I needed to do it today and I forgot. So check your Facebook Messenger in a bit. I got to leave you a message as soon as I say goodbye. Hey, everybody, I enjoyed tonight. Glad you enjoyed it too. I thought Theo is wonderful. I love that his podcast, and he's getting some notoriety. Above everything else, I hope that it will get him into housing. I have a feeling he's going to continue amplifying the voice of homeless people or unhoused people. But I have huge respect for Theo, and I am grateful that he spent some time with us. And now that we got this technology working, it'll only get better, and we'll be able to interview more people and have a lot of fun doing that. So thank you again for a wonderful Sunday night. You guys have a marvelous week. Next week is a serious maybe. I don't know if my plane is going to be back in time. I'm coming back from St. Paul. There is a ministry that it's a wonderful woman. I didn't want to go, but she kept on emailing me, and she talked me into going. And hopefully, hey Brad, hopefully Addie can come up and see me. If not, then I'll see Addie over the summer or some other time. But anyways, love you guys. Thank you for being Addie and Derek for being such wonderful moderators. And thank you all it was a wonderful chat tonight. Thank you all for participating. You are awesome. Have a great week.